welcome to my third guest designer layout and post for Spiegelmom scraps. I can't believe this is the third one. This month is going so fast. So I'm showing you here some of the products I pulled from the Spiegelmom scraps shop. I chose the Aquamarine Dream sequins and the Funfetti felt hearts in the teal color. And then the rest of this stuff is just all from my stash, all things I pulled that I thought would go with my color scheme. Some of it, actually a lot of it I don't end up using, but some of it I do. So this cut file is from the cut shop, and the background paper that I'm going to be using is from Capture Life by Allison Craft from Echo Park. And I'm just going to back. So I started out thinking I was going to back it with that larger on-trend paper, but the polka dots were too large. So I'm going to back some of the clouds with these foil Project Life cards from Close to My Heart. I'm really going to take advantage of this cut file, and it's going to be where most of my embellishments and most of the design of my layout comes from. I'm not going to use a whole lot of paper or in the end a whole lot of embellishments. I'm just going to really decorate up these clouds. So one way I'm going to do that is with by backing it with those Project Life cards, and another way I'm going to do it, and this is so cool. So I got an adhesive deco foil pen from Thermoweb, and I bought some of their foil, and I'm going to use it to foil some of the clouds on my cut file. I have a really small kind of scrap area, and I don't have room for a mink machine. I know I would use one, but I just don't have the space for it. So I have been discovering that Thermoweb has all these cool things that you can buy and use, and you don't need any kind of laminator at all. You don't need any kind of special printer. So I am using the Thermoweb Craft Adhesive Pen, and I'm just putting adhesive all over the striped cloud. And then I'm going to take some gold foil, and I'm going to place it over the striped clouds, and it's going to foil the clouds, and it's going to foil them right where I wanted and right where I scribbled that adhesive onto the cut file. A great place you can look to see more of these really cool things you can do with this foil, and there's actually another way that you can foil. Thermoweb has two different ways you can foil without a laminator or without anything, is to check out Crafty Jen Scow's videos. She's on the Thermoweb design team, and she does a lot of things where she doesn't use a laminator to foil her stuff at all, and you can just you don't even need any special machine. So I do have a texture boutique, and if I'm doing something where I want everything on the cut file to be, or the shape to be completely foiled, I would put it through my texture boutique for pressure. But for this big cut file, I obviously couldn't put it through the texture boutique. I also could use a brayer for some pressure for this, but I couldn't find my brayer. I don't know where it is, and of course it's something I wouldn't use a lot, and so I'm not quite sure where it ended up at. I may have even gotten rid of it. I do that. Anyway, so what I did was, and I saw Crafty Jen Scow do this on a video, and so I knew that it would work if I just used my fingers, and it did. So the foil looks a little messy. It almost looks like a little kid or a small child tried to color in the clouds with the foil, and that's perfect because I'm using pictures of a small child, so it worked out really well for what I'm using it on. But I would say that if you wanted something to be completely foiled or really well foiled, you definitely need something to use pressure besides a finger, so a texture boutique or something like that. And now here all of the clouds are either backed or foiled. There's some that aren't, and we are going to play with those next. So I'm just going to use a lot of adhesive. I'm using both a tape runner, and then I'm going to go back through the cut file, all the little pieces that are kind of sticking up, and I'm going to use my Scotch Quick Dry adhesive on those spots. And all of that paper is just foiled Project Life cards, or I think they're called Picture My Life cards from Close to My Heart. So I'm just pushing everything down and seeing where the clouds stick up that they need a little bit of extra adhesive. Because I am not done with these clouds. We're going to decorate them up some more, and I want to make sure that they are down on the paper really well before I go to my next step. And my next step is going to be to, well, make a mess. So I'm just putting my photos down here to see where they're going to be. So I know which clouds I need to still decorate and which ones are going to get covered. And I actually do end up covering one of the ones I backed too. So I get my gluey paintbrush, and yeah, this is a mess. This is a mess. But it was so much fun, and it turned out really, really pretty. So if you don't mind a mess when you're all done that you have to clean up, absolutely go for this. So all I'm doing is I filled those clouds with Scotch quick dry adhesive, and I put a pretty thick layer on them. And then I am just going to smush the sequins into the clouds. Since the sequins are only going to stick to my glue, they will create, you know, the shape of a cloud. And as long as I stayed within the white cut files with the glue, then that's where the sequins stayed. So, of course, I mounted them up, I pushed them into the glue, and then I just left them to dry. And I left them to dry overnight so that they were really, really good and dry. Really simple things. There is vellum stars in that sequin mix, and I chose not to use those. I put them off to the side. I'm actually going to use them on another project. And so now you see all of my sequined mounds, and I'm going to take some orange paper and we're just going to flip it up. I left this in the video so that if you try this technique, you have an idea of how to get your excess sequins off of the paper, the ones that didn't get stuck down into the glue. And I just used some old cardstock, and this worked really well too. I flipped it upside down and kind of just smushed it over and patted the back of the paper so that the loose sequins would just fall onto the cardstock. I will say though that I'm still finding every now and then a teeny tiny little star on my scrap desk or in my scrapbook room, but I'm totally okay with it. I'm fine with it. I think it's awesome. I think the clouds turned out beautiful. You'll see there's still a couple of sequins on the paper, but as I went through my layout, as I created my layout, I just kind of picked them up or took them off or shook them into the bowl. And for the most part, I mean, other than a couple errant sequins here and there, it was really fun, and it looks beautiful. I think it looks so pretty. So there are my pictures, and after I had them all taped down, I thought, oh, I really should have put tissue paper behind them, but it was too late. Now I'm going to go ahead, and this is another one of those Project Life cards from Close to My Heart, and I'm just going to use that for my journaling. And I'm going to journal about this little girl and how she is an actress, because it's not raining in either one of these pictures. So I went ahead and told my journaling and my little story, and now we're going to go ahead and just embellish a little bit more and add our title. Here I am trying to like pick up and decide if I want to try to put tissue paper behind it, but no. So I just add my date and go with that. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab some of the embellishments. I know I want to use the cloud and the heart from the Wonder collection, and those are going to be my letters that I use for my title. And these little, I don't know they're called bubbles. So these, what I'm putting in the little holes of these clouds are from Queen & Company. I have them in a whole range of colors. They're very inexpensive, and they're called bubbles. And they're not like gems, and they're not like enamel dots. They really are just like little bubbles. They're really, really cute, and I really like them. And like I said, I have an array of colors because I love them. They're really, really pretty. They look almost like glass beads maybe. And I just filled in the circles on my clouds with those. And there's my title, which is Rain, Rain, Go Away. And it really wasn't raining. And then I put the little puffy sticker from the Wonder collection, that little puffy cloud, and I'm going to use the puffy heart up by my journaling. And I added some enamel dots here and there. They're darker teal than what the little bubbles were. They bring in another, we really have like a monochromatic theme going on with different shades of teal and the gold foil and white. And I just wanted to add one more kind of pop of the darker teal. It's almost the same color as the felt hearts that I'm using. So these little felt hearts are from the Spiegelmom scrap store, and they're super cute. I love them. I love those hearts. They're all different kind of hearts. They're like wonky shaped hearts. They're not like cookie cutter hearts, and they're really, really cute. And I thought maybe I'd put one of these banners down the side, but I just didn't like the way that it looked, I guess. And I decided on just doing some more of the felt hearts, and I add the puffy hearts to that cluster over there. And I just put these hearts down with some Scotch Quick Dry adhesive. It's kind of like my liquid glue of choice. I do use glossy accents, but I don't use it as a glue. And I've never tried, I know sometimes a lot of people use that the Tombow glue, but I've never tried that at all. I just like my Scotch in the fine line bottles. So now I'm just putting in some more of the enamel dots and the felt hearts. And I think this might wrap up my layout. I think that maybe the only thing left that I do is to do a little bit of splatters with some Peacock Heidi Swap Color Shine. And I am almost out of, it's one of my very favorite colors, but I'm kind of running low on it. So it didn't want to splatter really well for me, so I kind of quit after a little bit because it just didn't want to splatter real good for me. I don't know why. Sometimes my Heidi Shine bottles really work well, and they give me wonderful splatters, and sometimes you really got to work for it. And so here is our finished layout. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, all appreciated and welcome. Here are some close-ups, and be sure to check out the Spiegelmom Scraps blog for the full layouts. Bye!